Tell me the truth, okay? Because there's been a lot of lying in this family.
And a lot of love.
More lies.
Let's be honest. Seasons 4 and 5 of Arrested Development never happened. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about the role of characters in comedy. Arrested Development doesn't have the most lovable set of characters by any means. However, the show's characters are constructed entirely through comedy. It's a combination of great joke writing and excellent performances, but primarily it's a result of unmatched structure. So let's dissect some jokes. Why not? Who doesn't love analyzing a good laugh? But before we can jump into Arrested Development, we've got to strip back the joke to its naked state. A setup followed by a punchline. Setups and punchlines are staples of any joke, including knock knock and yo mama jokes. This simple structure has been elevated by comedians and stand-up routines. Here's part of the setup to George Carlin's 7 Dirty Words joke.
There are some people that aren't into all the words. There are some people that would have you not use certain words. Yeah, there are 400,000 words in the English language, and there are 7 of them you can't say on television.
Basically, the setup is that the 7 words you can't say on TV must be really bad. Here's the punchline.
You know the 7, don't you, that you can't say on television? Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits, huh?
By saying the 7 words in quick succession, he shows that they're just words. In the interaction between the setup and the punchline, in this case, their contradiction, comedy festers. But like, in a funny way. Setup and punchline. That's all you need to be a comedy legend.
I will write a punchline with no particular setup in mind.
Writing good jokes isn't really that easy. But structurally, good jokes are really that simple.
The punchline is, so I kicked her in the pussy.
In fact, the setup is often implied or grounded in obvious knowledge, i.e., this is funny because this is not normal. So in a general sense, all a joke needs is a discongruity. Paradoxically, good comedy stories rely on harmony. Films and TV shows have to deliver jokes while including all the essential story building blocks. Comedies, especially sitcoms, have a tendency to take breaks from telling jokes to tell the story.
I haven't done any of them. I'm sorry, I just need to do this before settling down forever.
So now we've gone from I was never gonna do it to I need to do this. Did I leave the room?
Think sappy love monologues, weddings between soulmates, and dramatic breakups.
You know, if you're having these kind of doubts now, what's gonna change in 3 months? Maybe we just shouldn't get married at all.
Maybe not.
It's always frustrating to watch a comedy water down jokes because there's something that makes boring storylines better. Comedy. One technique for effectively incorporating character into comedy is the double act. The double act traditionally involves a character called the straight man providing the setup, and a character called the funny man delivering the punchline, such is the case in Abbott and Costello's Who's on First skit.
On the St. Louis team, we have who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
That's what I want to find out. I want you to tell me the names of the fellas on the St. Louis team.
I'm telling you, who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
Do you know the fellas' names?
Yes.
Well, then who's playing first?
Yes.
I mean the fellow's name on first base.
Who?
The fellow playing first base for St. Louis.
Who?
The guy on first base.
Who is on first?
Well, what are you asking me for?
Viewed generally, the double act provides a lens through which to dissect comedy, which is everyone's favorite pastime, right? One character provides the comedic discongruity, and one contrasts it. For example, in this scene from Friends, Joey tells Phoebe about a bad date. Joey provides the discongruity. He passionately will not share food.
I was thinking she was really cool. And then, out of nowhere...
Phoebe contrasts this behavior by telling him to not make such a big deal out of it.
That's why you won't go out with her again? So she took some fries, big deal.
The roles of provider and contraster are joke-specific. There are plenty of times in Friends where Phoebe provides kooky character moments and Joey, or any other of the cast members, contrasts her eccentric behaviors. The two roles don't have to be individual characters either. A team, club, or even a relationship can act as either the provider or contrastor. In the famous dinner party episode of The Office, Jan and Michael both provide comedic discongruities.
That is sort of an oaky afterbirth.
What was that?
They're clearly in an unhealthy relationship and effectively hold their house guests hostage for hours. Jim and Pam both contrast this behavior by behaving normally.
I don't care what they say about me, I just want to eat. Which I realize is a lot to ask for. At a dinner party.
The double act can reveal character traits. The provider can be emotionally vulnerable or aggressively braggadocious. The contrastor can be supportive or condescending. Arrested Development cleverly uses the double act to layer characterization into its comedy. Here's the opening scene from Let Him Eat Cake.
Dad. Buddy, you gotta take it easy, okay? I'm showing this as a model again. I don't want people to think we've got shoddy workmanship. That might not have been your fault.
I know. Nothing works in this house.
Tell me about it.
Is that a shot at me?
Probably.
Because for your information, I got a job.
Really? What kind of job?
Beads.
In this scene, Job and Lindsay provide the discongruities and Michael contrasts them. From the opening line, we learn Michael is condescending. Quick life lesson. Don't be a douche. Don't unironically call someone buddy. Not even this guy.
You know, thanks to this diet craze, the last time we had a customer, the banana stand was still green.
By acknowledging his mistake, Michael also shows some humility. On the other hand, Job lacks self-awareness. When he complains about nothing working in the house, Michael cleverly identifies the irony that Job doesn't have a job. However, Lindsay makes the conversation about herself by bragging about getting a job. Michael is temporarily proud, only for her to reveal that this new job is
beads.
As the contraster, we'd expect Michael's next line to be some contemptuous comment toward Lindsay. Instead,
really? What kind of job?
Beads.
Bees?
Beads.
Beads?
Job's not on board.
These few lines combine two previous jokes, Lindsay's beads and Job's cluelessness. They bounce back and forth until, in one quick line, Michael sarcastically points out the ridiculousness of the situation. Having characters interact in the double act structure allows one comedic discongruity to be a launching point for another. This technique creates highly efficient and actively comedic characterization. On top of that, simultaneously balancing multiple jokes is a staple of good comedy. In the Dave Chappelle stand-up clip shown earlier, one discongruity is that Chappelle writes punchlines before the setup. After revealing the joke's punchline, he tells the story of him desperately wanting to have stovetop stuffing at his friend's house as a child.
And I'm afraid there's not enough stovetop stuffing for everybody. So I kicked her in the pussy. Bam!
By connecting the separate jokes, Chappelle elicits large laughter and gives that section of his routine a sense of finality. Michael's character does the same thing in Arrested Development. Most sitcoms don't creatively use the double act. In the Friends episode mentioned earlier, 7 minutes are spent on the Joey doesn't share food plotline. What do these scenes reveal about Joey? He really enjoys food.
Look, it's not about a few fries. It's about what the fries represent.
What?
All food!
He really enjoys food.
Just don't order a garden salad and then eat my food. That's a good way to lose some fingers.
And, oh, by the way,
Joey doesn't share food!
Phoebe's role as the contraster doesn't reveal anything important about her character either. She's reasonably a bit frustrated at Joey. That's it. Sure, this storyline has some funny gags. Joey accidentally spills his plate onto the ground and he eats it anyway. He sheepishly devours his date's entire dessert when she explicitly told him not to. Still, all these jokes rely on one character trait. In 7 minutes of Friends, we learn Joey loves food. In 32 seconds of Arrested Development, we learn each character's defining trait. Lindsay has vague aspirational goals, Job passionately misunderstands, and Michael condescendingly judges them all.
But I'm the oldest. The matriarch, if you will.
Sure, I will.
The efficiency of the double act structure lays the groundwork for Arrested Development's most celebrated quality, running gags. In Let 'Em Eat Cake, Job's passionate misunderstanding about
Bees?
becomes a reoccurring joke. Each time
Bees
are referenced, Job's cluelessness is reinforced. However, Arrested Development uses running gags to not only reinforce, but also enhance character.
Job, I'm not looking for a partner, and believe me, if I was, it would not be you.
Oh. Good. Well, I'll start my own business. How hard can it be?
Think about what
bees
mean to Job. Lindsay rejects Job from her bead business, so he decides he'll start a bee business. Job wants to be important to his family, but doesn't know how.
I mean, this family runs into problems. It's, let's have Job our way out of it.
What is the matter with you?
Come on, it's me that she wants to meet with, Job.
Oh. Good.
He tries, but is continuously told he's not important.
You? No one wants you. Does anyone want him, Barry?
Who would want him? They don't want you.
Good.
Ultimately, Job wants to be included and feel valuable, but his brother, sister, and entire family only dismiss him. Therefore, Job's bee business is an attempt to impress his family and find value. This same character beat resurfaces each time bees are referenced.
They don't allow you to have bees in here.
Tragically, Job is destined to fail, and not just because his business is a dumb idea. His family doesn't value him because of his cluelessness, and he tries to make his family value him by doubling down on that cluelessness. In this case,
bees?
Not all running jokes so heavily involve character. In Friends, Joey isn't insecure about his love of food. There's no internal dilemma about whether he should calm down to get the girl. Joey doesn't care that he's a food fascist. Effectively, the running joke in Friends has no stakes, while the Arrested Development joke packs significance on multiple levels. These heightened stakes provide character nuance to later jokes. Job and Michael have opposite character arcs. Job wants to be important to his family, but he isn't. Conversely, Michael carries all of his family's responsibility, but he doesn't want it.
Michael, you can save this business. You are the only one who can do it.
Yeah, besides me, right?
I want to pack up and desert the family.
However, nothing changes for either character by the end of the episode. Arrested Development intentionally doesn't focus on character development. It's literally called Arrested Development, which means a halt in change. So instead of drawing meaning from why characters change, the show draws meaning from why they don't. When Michael ditches his family, Job doesn't, but even then, he's not particularly helpful.
I'm in charge now. I speak for this family. I mean, I could if you wanted me to. I'd rather not, obviously. Don't know what I'd say. I mean, why do I have to be the one? I don't need this. Why does this have to become my problem? No, I'm out. Forget it. Find somebody else. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of doing everything for this family.
Where's Michael?
Typical.
Job lacks the tools to provide value in important moments. Unlike Job, Michael has the tools, but he thinks himself too good for his family. Michael's inflated ego and need to cut others down continually prevents him from being an effective leader. In the first interaction, Job is the butt of the joke, and Michael is the eyes through which the audience sees the story. This doesn't necessarily change, but within the context of the episode, Job's cluelessness also shows his sincerity and badly obscured insecurities. On the other hand, Michael's comeback is no longer just condescending. His constant criticism comes off as selfish and arrogant as well. The layers of character buried into each joke subvert what it means to be the funny man or straight man. As the finale for Season 1, Let 'Em Eat Cake illustrates Arrested Development's strength of subtly revealing character through laugh-out-loud moments. With Arrested Development's abrupt decline in its revamped seasons, the legacy of the show is mixed. People seem to remember the running gags, but forget the reason they worked in the first place. They might remember the kooky characters, but only as shells of deeper personalities. Job's
I've made a huge mistake.
isn't funny because Job is an airhead. It's hilarious because each time it's repackaged, it further reveals how all the characters are stuck in the same unchanging joke. And that should be the legacy of Arrested Development.